Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel where we review anything and everything. And today we're getting into this Ninjago Dragons Rising set 71808. It's a 7+ set. It's Kai's Elemental Fire Mech, and it hits 322 pieces. And of the mechs, I reviewed a couple of the Ninjago mechs for the Dragon Rising line not all that long ago. This is probably within one of the range of the bigger ones, because some of them are a little bit more stumpier, even though they're within the same size range, but they're a little more like, you know, not as tall. I want to say that's the Earth Ninja one. I forget his name right now, but the Earth Ninja one, his mech is a little more stumpy in terms of height, but also very bulky. You got a couple of different ones. This one to me seems very like it's very big and stands tall, probably one of the more taller ones. But this set also comes with a small, one of the Wolf Clan characters mechs, which I don't even know if I remember seeing them have mechs into the show. I know my son pointed out that he never saw or knew that they had mechs because we were watching the shows together. I bought this for them for Christmas. Link's going to be in the description down below for this on Amazon. You can see the figures that it comes with. Wolf Mask Warrior, Jordana, which this is one of the, at least that I've seen, one of the only sets that you get her in, or at least, I don't know, there are probably many other sets. I'm not huge into the Ninjago space. I only just recently got into it for my kids. Zane, in this kind of very ninja-ish outfit, and Kai also in a very similar outfit. And then this shows you here on the back of the box how you're able to mix and match. And this is the reason why one of my sons who wanted the Ninjago set was really inspired because of the whole mix and match abilities, because of the other ones he has. And there it goes right there. You can see the Earth Ninja's mech and how I was showing you, it's a little bit more stumpy, not as tall. Hers is pretty tall. I forget her character's name right now, but hers is pretty tall. So some of them, yeah, are stumpy, some of them are tall. I'm gonna push that aside right now. I will take first we'll go over the wolf one. I'm gonna move the figures to the side, and we'll get into the figures last because it'll just be easier. So let me move this angle a little bit, you guys. So here is the wolf mech. We're just gonna call it that for now because it doesn't really have a specific name. It's very lanky. And it's one of those things where you can see they just kind of threw it in there so you have something to battle, but you do get 4 minifigures, so it's not bad. Like I said, link's gonna be in the description down below, but I think the regular retail price on this is $30. I think it's a little bit high for what you get to a degree. Ninjago's prices are not bad in general, but considering that some of the other setups and mechs are a bit cheaper, almost like $20, and you'll get like the mech and maybe 2 or 3 figures, you're kind of paying like an extra $10 for an additional figure and a smaller mech, which might be worth the value. I'm not saying it's a bad value, but you can see this definitely is like a very much more lankier one. And this would have been great in more of an army building kind of set, to be honest with you. Maybe a set that just had 2 of these in it, as opposed to with another one of the main mechs. You can see the methods here. There's a 7+ set, but you can see the methods here. My son put this one together by himself. As far as this mech, he got lazy and didn't want to do the other one, but he's done a full mech before. And you see here how this is actually put in. I didn't even realize that this doesn't even sit in there. Normally he's standing, so I guess you would press his feet up against that back area like that to get him to stand in it. And then you can do like this. So, which has him kind of looking more down like an angle, but it's fine. It's definitely different than the regular sitting position. He has a little tail on him with these claws. And with that, I'm gonna take the minifigure out. He's your standard minifigure that you get with these, but I'm gonna take him out and put him on the side with the rest of the figures. So when we get into that, now here you have Kai and the standard setup where they fit the mechs inside like that to sit them down. Very huge, big mech. This right here is how they hold things. They hold their weapon. Most of these will come with a weapon like that, and they'll also come with a space for you to hold like their regular weapon, which his is right here, which is nice. He's got these fire flame pieces coming out. of the mech, which is also pretty cool. And one thing I noticed with this one too is that these pieces right here prevent it from going too far back when it stands. So I guess that's to keep it from, like, you know, the center of weight going too far back. But it works nice. Big feet, stuff like that. Nice little build. I just felt like there's a lot that goes into this build. So I think it's actually one of my favorite of the line of these mechs that they have. So I think they did a really good job with that. Huge sword. They use like 2 parts to the sword to actually make it what it is. Another blade piece there and another big chunk there. And then coming to get into the figures. Now, most of the time when you have these mechs, you'll have, like I said before, a place where they hold their weapon on the mech for the main character who's has the mech. Because a lot of times you'll throw in supporting ninjas in the sets that have the mech, as I previously reviewed on the channel. But here you see he's got like his ninja mask underneath that, and then the regular face also underneath. I don't know if that's like a little bandage on his head. And then he has his symbol right there. And once you kind of get familiar with Ninjago, you know they always have their little symbols. I think this is a nice, you know, version of him in this kind of ninja suit with the ninja mask up top, because there are different versions that are not like this. And I really do like this version. You see it looks like he's got armor, metal on him. What's interesting too is they'll have ones that are similar to this, but a slightly different suit. And it's funny because you might think that they're the same, but my kids had a different version of Zane where the body looks similar, but it's a different design on it. So it's interesting that they can look close, but you're actually getting sometimes a different type. Here, these just had extra weapons, so I just threw them in there with him. He can hold one on his back, which I always love it when they have those kind of things to hold. You know, I would say that it sucks that Kai, the fire ninja, doesn't have one, but at the same time, we also understand that he has it holds on his mech because he's the main one in the mech, where Zane here does not have a mech. So, and here you have his second printing, the robot head. I'm not getting focusing. There we go. And then here you have like the ninja mask version, which my kids don't have this version. We have 3 different versions of Zane and not one with this kind of outfit on. So that's actually pretty cool. With that mask on, I mean, you could take this off, nice little shoulder pad along with it. So I think that looks nice. You got his symbol on his uniform, a little bit of the armor on it too. So that looks nice. I'm gonna throw all this back on. Like I said, I'm really a big fan of when they have these things to hold their swords and you just slide them in like that. It makes me think of what it reminds me of, like Ninja Turtles. And I'm surprised that they've never done something like that yet, where, like, you know, you did a Ninja Turtle set and had them hold weapons and stuff like that, just like that. This figure we've seen plenty of times before in some of my previous reviews. The Wolf Mask Warrior, basic figure. The only thing I would say that is a negative is he's got the 2 different heads, but he's got a mask on that covers it. So if you remove the mask, now you're seeing 2 different faces on the back. If he was a character that had hair or something like that, or just had with one face on it, I think it would make more sense rather than 2 different faces. So I think that kind of is a negative in that regard. And here you have Jordana, which is definitely a known and main character. One of these weapons might be the Wolf Mask Warriors thing, but he actually does not have a space to hold a weapon on the mech. So that's one thing they kind of missed out on. Here you see her here. She has a separate second face and this little scarf thing, which actually looks pretty nice. I've never seen this piece before, so that's actually pretty cool. You can see the printing all the way up with like the dragon symbol, and this is this piece here. So I think her character looks cool. Yeah. And that's about it, you guys. I think it's definitely a nice set. I think it's worth the value because you are getting more things, but I guess it's just a matter of how much do you want that, because you're going to want this mech if you're into the line, but you know, you're getting this extra mech that feels like a little bit out of place. Like, it almost feels like, to be honest, if they would have made this set $10 cheaper and didn't have that mech and didn't have this warrior in it similar to the other sets, I feel like that would have almost been more appealing to most people, because most people, I don't think, are going to want that wolf mech in this type of set. If they had it in its own set where there was like either it's by itself for $10 or maybe you had 2 of them in a double pack, then you could army build and you'd have a whole bunch of these guys, and then that would make sense. On the flip side though, one of these guys have come with almost every single mech set. So after you complete all the mech sets, you will have probably about a good 4 or 5 of these guys, along with now a little mech for them, but they're still just completely outmatched. If, you know, not that it's meant to be an even to even, you know, kind of fight as far as the way the setup is, but you guys kind of get the idea. What I'm trying to say is that it definitely is one of those things where, you know, because it's so thrown off and you can't army build the mass wolf guys separately, it definitely makes it where, you know, you're paying extra to have them in the set, but you're not really going to be able to army build with them specifically. Maybe there are other sets where you can do that. So maybe what I'm saying doesn't really apply. They're adding to your set, but then there's other sets where you can army build with them really well. So in that case, if there is, you can put down the comments down below and then just disregard what I'm saying there. But with that being said, you guys, as always, like, share, comment, subscribe. I'll catch you guys in the next video.